So, why must it be so difficult to make a parnasa? Why must it be so hard to make a living? King David, first thing in the morning, Kevon Sha'ola Amur HaShachar, as soon as the first break of dawn began, Nichnusu Chachmei Yisrael Etzlo, the sages of Israel came into his room. And they said, Adoneinu HaMelech, your majesty the king, Amcha Yisrael Tzricham Parnasa, your nation Israel needs sustenance, needs parnasa. Is there a colloquial English word for parnasa? Like livelihood. Who says livelihood? You know anyone who says livelihood? Huh? They need to make a living. But the thing is, to make a living, they need to live. You know what I mean? To make a living is like a verb. Parnasa is a noun. You know what I mean? I can't think of such a word. Nothing. It's the idea is to make a living, but it doesn't have the same thing. What is he? He needs parnasa. He needs to make a living. Okay. Anyways, Your Majesty the King, your people Israel tzrichim parnasa. They need a living. Amar lahem yelchu v'yisparnasu. You know anyone who says livelihood in English?
Sustenance.
Sustenance. I'm looking for like a word that people actually use. You know. All right.
But you better not say nouns and verbs in high school because they won't know what you're talking about.
Okay. In any case. Yes. So what does King David say to them? They said, your people Israel needs parnasa. So what does King David, the richest man in the world, say? He says, Yelchu v'yisparnasu zamizeh. Let them go and give and do business with each other. And that's how they should make money. Amrulo, they said, Ein hakometz masbia es ha'ari. The fist does not satisfy the lion. The ein habor mismale michulyoso. And the pit, or the well, is not filled by its own dirt. Omar lohem, and so he responded to them, L'chu upishtu yidechem bigdud. So if that's the case, then let the troops go out and go roving, acquire more property, resources, etc. And then what do? Yoatzim b'achitofel v'nimlachem b'sanhedrin v'shoim b'ulum v'tumim. They would immediately, they took advice from Achitofel, and they deliberated with the Sanhedrin, and they asked the question of the Urim and Tumim, the mystical breastplate of the high priest. Okay, but I wondered, what is this story? The sages of Israel come to King David every day, it seems. This was describing King David's daily routine. They come to him every day and they say, you need parnasa. And he answers them, go do business with each other. And they say, we can't. That doesn't fill our needs. And so he says, if that's the case, let the troops go out. And so I think what might be going on over here is a conversation between David HaMelech and Chachmei Yisrael about what the meaning of, what is the spiritual reason why we go to work. Why does a person why don't we eat the way animals do? We have everything. Animals don't have to go to work. Their food is around. Why is it that we need to go do parnasa? And so his first answer to them is, the idea of parnasa is so that you should make peace with each other. You should do business with each other. It's a way of bringing people together. And so, yisparnasu zemizeh, right? They should go and make peace. It's a way of, by one person having resources, and another person having needs, another person having capital, and another person having the energy for labor, that creates unity in society. But they answered him that that's not enough. Now, on the larger sense, we talk about peace. We talk about bringing people together. And this is coming after the idea of chatzos, midnight, which King David was obsessed with getting up at midnight and being awake at the moment of midnight. So Rab Nosson explains in Likutei Halachos that midnight is the moment of division. And division is really the separation. We talking about those terms, capital and labor, resources and needs. This has the potential to pit people against each other, as we see today in the street. What's going on? It's not only about race, it's about class in many ways. And it's not an accident that the people that are agitating in the country are also the same people who agitate with a socialist and Marxist agenda, which is really around the division of resources, capital, and labor. And these are the things that divide people. As a matter of fact, it is these very separations that cause sin. And our purpose, says David HaMelech, our purpose in this world is to make wholeness, is to make unity, not just, meaning the purpose of peace in this sense is not just so that we shouldn't fight. It's not just so that we should get along. It's because, spiritually speaking, peace demonstrates that all of us are children of one God. And not just that all people are children of one God, but that the entire world is God's creation and is all participating in one project, is all participating in one effort. That all of us serve God and that our difference should be brought together in the service of Hashem. And so that's his first answer. And they say, Ein hakometz must be as hari, which the fist doesn't satisfy the lion. And there's a number of references in this idea, but on the simplest level, that's that idea that the fist doesn't satisfy the lion is that sucking your own thumb doesn't fill your stomach. Filling ein habor mismale muchulyaso is that a cistern isn't filled from its own dirt. This indicates two levels of the Jewish people. The Ari, as we discussed in previous passages, refers to the sages of Torah. The lion refers to the sages of the Torah, the people who are warriors in their whole being for God. They live in a state of perfection in the sense that there's no rider and horse. The lion itself is the war machine. And these are people whose whole identity is invested in the service of Hashem. But even they need to eat and can't chew on their own fist. And the bor, the well, the cistern, refers to the not unlearned Jews who require water from elsewhere. And the water, of course, there refers to Torah. And there you'd see the water filling the cistern. In the water in the cistern, the water and the cistern are still two separate entities. Even the cistern is full of water, it's two separate entities. But when the lion eats, it becomes part of his very flesh. But the other reference to the kometz, to the fistful, could be the fist. Is the specific word kometz refers to the kometz hamincha, the fistful taken by the priests in the service of the temple to burn on the altar. And what this might be referring to on both levels, both in the allegorical sense of the sucking on your own thumb to fill your stomach, and in the spiritual symbolic sense of the referring to the mincha, referring to the meal offering in the temple, is that our purpose of bringing the world together is not fulfilled by recycling our own spiritual experience within ourselves. We don't change the world, say the Chachmei Yisrael to David HaMelech, we don't change the world by staying in our own living room and learning Torah. As important as the as the offering in the temple is, as important as the sacrifices in the temple are, they are in and of the temple. They stay in the temple. It's the lion eating his own fist. And the real work requires l'chu pishtu bigdud, that we have to go out and interact with others and go beyond our borders, go beyond our comfort zone, and need to fortify ourselves. We'll need to be strong. And we need to be armed. So as we go into the world, we have to remember that we're not going into the world to engage as equals. As we go into the world, which appears to us to be for the purpose of parnasa, for the purpose of making a living, when we go into the world, it isn't a relationship of equals. We go as aggressors, so to speak, but in a positive sense. To be affirmative and knowing what we stand for and knowing the message that we bring to the world. And we are engaging with the world in order to bring more peace, in order to create connections and relationships with more and more people and more resources and more territory, so that we can manifest the oneness of Hashem all over the world. And thus, the lion eats new food, and the well is filled with new water. And of course, this is not other than Hashem, this is a gift from Hashem. And this had to be a daily meditation by David HaMelech, by King David and the Chachmei Yisrael, the elders of Israel, which is to say, remember why it is that you studied Torah. You studied Torah to fortify yourself. Remember now that you're going to work. Remember what it is that you're here to do. You're not here to feed yourself. Because then, yisparnasun bzeh mizeh, we could do business with each other and keep a closed economy and only ever interact with ourselves. If it was just about making a parnasa, if it was just about making a living. Socialism works very well in a family unit, right? Whatever parent is able to go to work goes to work. Whatever children are able to help out. Whatever grandparents are able to babysit. That's socialism, right? It works in a small, closed society, but that never expands and reaches beyond. And so therefore, as we go to Parnasa, we realize the reason we have to go far away, to leave our homes and to go other places and to put ourselves at risk is all in order to feed, to bring shalom, to bring peace. And this is then again reflected in the conclusion that the final place where that has to be assessed and discussed and deliberated is in the Sanhedrin, which is the seat of the Torah, and the idea is about bringing the Torah to the entire world.